Metrics and key risk indicators, KRIs, form the nervous system of a mature SOC2 program. They translate abstract control objectives into measurable, observable signals that reveal how well an organization maintains trust, availability, and security. Within SOC 2 governance, metrics provide quantitative proof of control performance, while KRIs highlight emerging risks before they evolve into audit findings. Together, they create a feedback loop between daily operations and compliance oversight. By defining ownership, reporting cadence, and escalation paths, organizations ensure that measurement is not passive reporting, it's active governance. The result is continuous improvement, where every number contributes to accountability, readiness, and transparency for both internal leaders and external auditors. Understanding the distinction between metrics and KRIs is essential to designing an effective measurement program. Metrics reflect the performance of controls, how well patch management, access reviews, or incident response operate in practice. KRIs, on the other hand, serve as early warning systems, signaling when risk is increasing or control health is degrading. A spike in failed backups or expired vendor attestations doesn't just indicate failure, it forecasts where the next compliance issue might emerge. The two work in tandem. Metrics confirm that operations perform as expected, while KRIs anticipate when they might not. Aligning both sets of indicators to the SOC 2 Trust Services criteria, security, availability, processing integrity, confidentiality, and privacy, ensures that the program reflects the organization's most important commitments. Designing meaningful metrics and KRIs begins with a few guiding principles. Every indicator should be relevant, measurable, and traceable back to a defined control or risk statement. Each must have a clearly identified data source and owner, someone accountable for accuracy and timeliness. Thresholds must be established to define what good, warning, and critical look like, accompanied by documented escalation paths. Wherever possible, data collection should be automated to prevent manipulation or human error. The strongest metrics programs are those built on clarity and consistency. Each number tells a story, and every story can be independently verified through evidence and governance. Selecting meaningful indicators starts with the organization's enterprise risk register. The top operational, technical, and compliance risks identified there should serve as the foundation for measurement. Each risk is then mapped to one or more SOC 2 criteria, ensuring coverage across the trust categories. For example, access management risks align with the security principle, while system uptime relates to availability. Indicators should be prioritized based on their potential business impact. What affects customers, revenue, or trust the most should be measured most closely. Documenting the rationale behind each metric and establishing target benchmarks creates transparency and supports auditor understanding during reviews. Examples make the concept of metrics tangible. Within SOC 2, access review completion rates under CC6 measure how consistently organizations validate user privileges. Patch latency, tracked under CC7, quantifies the speed of vulnerability remediation, directly impacting operational security. Mean time to detect, MTTD, and mean time to recover, MTTR, often classified under CC9, measure the efficiency of incident response. Even evidence collection timeliness, aligned with CC5, serves as a metric of readiness, proving that documentation and control artifacts are gathered proactively. Each metric tells a story of operational discipline and control execution, providing measurable assurance that processes are functioning as designed. Key risk indicators focus on the signals that precede control degradation. For instance, an increasing number of expired vendor attestations may indicate weakening third-party oversight, a common SOC2 deficiency. Missed control executions, such as unperformed access reviews or skipped backups, reveal gaps in operational consistency. Breached error budgets show that reliability commitments are at risk, while a rising percentage of failed backup verifications suggests potential threats to data integrity. Tracking these indicators transforms reactive auditing into proactive risk management, giving organizations time to correct course before issues become formal findings. KRIs provide the foresight that keeps the compliance program resilient. Automation is the backbone of reliable data collection. Integrating metrics from monitoring systems, GRC platforms, and ticketing tools ensures consistency and eliminates manual reporting delays. Timestamp verification and data lineage tracking confirm the integrity of every record, satisfying auditor expectations for accuracy. Automated exports archived monthly provide an immutable evidence trail that proves ongoing oversight. Removing human data entry from the process also strengthens objectivity. Metrics become trusted signals rather than subjective narratives. In SOC 2 terms, automation reinforces both the completeness and reliability of the evidence used to demonstrate continuous control operation. Visualization and reporting transform raw numbers into insights. Dashboards tailored to different audiences, technical for operations teams, and summary level for executives, create clarity at every layer of governance. Quarterly trend analysis reveals whether control performance is improving or deteriorating across audit cycles. Highlighting exceptions or deviations draws attention to areas needing remediation or additional investment. Publishing results in compliance or risk committee meetings ensures that metrics influence decision-making, not just reporting. Over time, visualization becomes a cultural tool. Everyone from engineers to executives understands how their actions contribute to SOC 2 outcomes. Threshold setting defines when attention turns into action. Each metric should include clear green, yellow, and red status indicators reflecting acceptable, cautionary, and critical ranges. Persistent yellow status without correction should automatically escalate to management review or corrective action tickets. Escalation pathways should be documented in governance procedures, linking alerts directly to accountable owners. Resolution outcomes, including approval for risk acceptance or remediation, must be logged for traceability. This structure transforms metrics from passive observation into active governance, a living system that drives timely decisions and ensures continuous compliance health. Governance integration elevates metrics and KRIs from technical dashboards to executive oversight. Quarterly compliance or risk committee meetings should include formal review of indicator performance, with discussions focused on persistent deviations or new emerging trends. Each KRI should have an assigned owner responsible for follow-up actions. Meeting minutes should document updates, decisions, and any risk appetite adjustments. This cadence ties daily operational performance to enterprise-level risk management. In the SOC 2 framework, such governance evidence demonstrates that management not only monitors controls, but actively evaluates their effectiveness, closing the loop between risk, performance, and accountability. Evidence readiness ensures that the metrics program directly supports the audit process. Dashboards, screenshots, and monthly data exports should be retained for each reporting period, showing both historical performance and trending data. Each indicator's definition, ownership, and threshold logic should be documented and stored in a compliance repository. Auditors must be able to trace any metric directly to its associated control objective, confirming its relevance and authenticity. Period alignment is equally critical. Data reviewed by auditors must correspond precisely to the defined audit period. A well-documented metrics repository becomes the auditor's first stop, showcasing operational discipline and preparedness before fieldwork even begins. Finally, correlating metrics and KRIs with audit results turns measurement into insight. Patterns often emerge when organizations analyze exceptions across time. Recurring findings may align with certain risk indicators, revealing weak control domains. For example, a trend of delayed evidence submissions may correlate with spikes in missed access reviews. Adjusting thresholds or ownership accountability based on these correlations improves future audit outcomes. Demonstrating this adaptive learning process proves to auditors that the organization doesn't just measure, it evolves. Metrics thus serve their highest purpose, enabling continuous improvement, not just compliance maintenance. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. The maturity of a metrics and KPIs program can be understood through progressive levels of automation. At level 1, data is gathered manually, often using spreadsheets and ad hoc reports, which limits consistency and scalability. Level 2 introduces scheduled exports and automated dashboards that refresh periodically, reducing human error. Level 3 represents continuous integration with compliance and control monitoring tools, enabling real-time insight into operational health. The pinnacle, level 4, brings predictive analytics and AI-driven insights, where systems automatically detect patterns, anticipate control drift, and suggest corrective actions. This progression demonstrates not just technological advancement, but a deeper cultural shift toward continuous assurance, where compliance becomes an ongoing state rather than a periodic exercise. A well-rounded tooling ecosystem underpins the effectiveness of any measurement framework. Business intelligence (BI) platforms such as Power BI or Tableau can visualize performance trends, while governance, risk, and compliance (GRC) systems serve as the authoritative data source for control tracking. Integration with ticketing tools like Jira or ServiceNow ensures that metrics tied to remediation efforts are updated automatically, maintaining alignment between operations and compliance. Security Information and Event Management (SIEM) and monitoring systems contribute event-driven data, enriching the overall reliability picture. Access controls and audit logs within each platform guarantee that metric manipulation or accidental data loss cannot compromise audit integrity. The result is a connected, transparent ecosystem capable of transforming operational telemetry into strategic governance. Cross-framework reuse of metrics brings efficiency to multi-standard compliance environments. Many of the indicators that support SOC 2, such as patch timeliness, uptime, or access review completion, also align with ISO 27001 Annex A controls or NIST CSF performance measures. Harmonizing reports across frameworks prevents redundant work, allowing organizations to maintain a single repository of metrics and evidence that satisfies multiple requirements. This unified view simplifies customer trust reporting, as clients can see consistent data across attestations. By reusing the same measurements for different frameworks, organizations not only reduce audit fatigue, but also prove that their monitoring systems are holistic, not fragmented. A formal metrics governance policy ensures that the measurement program remains structured and sustainable. This policy should define each indicator's objective, assigned owner, review frequency, and data collection method. Including this annex within the organization's overarching compliance or information security policy embeds it into the official governance architecture. Communicating these expectations annually keeps all stakeholders aligned and accountable. Each revision of the policy should be tracked and acknowledged by metric owners, providing documentation of awareness and acceptance. Governance policies transform measurement from a set of tactical tasks into a codified part of organizational culture. For leadership and board oversight, KRI dashboards translate complex data into concise, actionable insights. Using a traffic light visualization format, green for stable, yellow for emerging risk, and red for critical thresholds, executives can quickly understand organizational risk posture. These dashboards should display variance trends, remediation timelines, and overdue mitigations, helping leadership focus on the areas that require attention. The design must emphasize clarity and brevity. Decision-makers need to see impact, not raw data. Regular review of these dashboards during governance meetings ensures accountability and reinforces the message that risk management is a shared responsibility across all levels of the enterprise. The accuracy of a metrics and KRIs program depends on rigorous quality assurance. Each data source should be validated quarterly to confirm reliability and integrity. Peer reviews of calculations catch inconsistencies before they affect reporting, while documented methodologies ensure reproducibility. Assumptions such as sample sizes, thresholds, or data exclusions must be transparent to prevent misinterpretation. Annual audits of metric definitions confirm they remain relevant and aligned with evolving control objectives. This disciplined approach mirrors the precision expected of financial reporting. In a SOC 2 context, it proves that operational data receives the same level of scrutiny as compliance statements. Even mature organizations encounter pitfalls in measurement design. A common mistake is tracking too many indicators, diluting focus, and overwhelming stakeholders with low-value data. Inconsistent ownership leads to outdated or inaccurate reports, while metrics without defined thresholds fail to drive action. The remedy lies in simplicity and governance. Track what truly matters, assign clear accountability, and define what success or failure looks like for each metric. Periodic program reviews help retire obsolete indicators and introduce new ones aligned with emerging risks. Measurement, when done right, remains dynamic, a living reflection of the organization's evolving risk and control landscape. Metrics and KRIs serve as more than management tools. They are also key forms of audit evidence. During fieldwork, auditors look for proof that organizations continuously monitor control operation rather than relying solely on annual snapshots. Historical metric reports, dashboards, and supporting data sets provide this proof. Linking each indicator to its associated control objective demonstrates traceability. When presented clearly, these artifacts show auditors that the organization's compliance is both real-time and data-driven. Metrics bridge the gap between policy and practice, converting everyday operations into verifiable, evidence-backed assurance. A robust metrics program also supports continuous performance improvement. Quarterly target setting aligns operational efforts with strategic objectives, while closure rate tracking shows how effectively corrective actions are completed. KRIs, when tied to service-level outcomes, drive meaningful conversations about performance, risk, and customer satisfaction. Communicating these achievements during executive briefings reinforces the business value of compliance metrics, transforming them from audit exercises into operational success stories. This alignment ensures that compliance metrics contribute to competitiveness and trust, not just risk avoidance. Maturity in measurement programs follows a predictable evolution. Initially, organizations operate reactively, gathering data only when required for audits. As they progress, dashboards update continuously, feeding real-time risk models that inform decision-making. At higher maturity, predictive analytics highlight potential control failures before they occur, while fully integrated risk engines provide early warning systems. Ultimately, metrics become embedded in business planning, influencing resource allocation and strategy. In this state, SOC 2 readiness is a byproduct of operational excellence rather than an isolated compliance objective. Training and awareness keep the metrics framework healthy over time. Owners must understand how to interpret indicators, recognize anomalies, and initiate escalation procedures. Providing templates for metric documentation and calculation ensures standardization across teams. Including metrics orientation in manager onboarding reinforces that measurement is part of leadership accountability, not just a compliance function. Periodic quizzes or workshops can validate comprehension and maintain engagement. The stronger the cultural understanding of metrics, the more effectively they drive both compliance and improvement. In conclusion, designing a metrics and KRIs program for SOC 2 transforms compliance from a retrospective activity into a continuous performance discipline. When indicators are relevant, automated, and governed, they provide a living picture of organizational health. Ownership ensures accountability, while automation guarantees integrity and timeliness. These metrics serve as tangible evidence of control operation and continuous monitoring, reflecting a culture where data supports both decision-making and assurance. As AI and machine learning expand into SOC 2's scope, future metrics programs will evolve from descriptive dashboards to predictive systems, capable of forecasting risks, quantifying resilience, and strengthening the bridge between governance and trust.